Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Announcements with the new guy, now new member, Eric Wallace Avatar. Leading off today are our online participants. If you're with us on Facebook or YouTube, please subscribe to get your notifications when we have new videos. If you're with us on Zoom, drop us a hi in the chat so we can say hello back. Batting second, everybody that's here. Hello, everybody. Batting third is our guests. If this is your first visit, go ahead and sign the guest book either in the lobby or online at oakcliffuu.org/guest. Batting cleanup today is Renée Brill, who returns to the pulpit with a look at Mother's Day from the perspective of a new mother. Batting fifth, after the service, we hope you'll stick around for Talkback to share your thoughts on this day that strikes everyone a little differently. Batting sixth, at the same time as Talkback, we have Adult Religious Exploration with Sarah Rickey. That's in the Charity Building, and it's in person and online. Batting seventh, at 1 o'clock today, the board will meet in the Hope Common Room and on Zoom. The meeting is open to all, and it should wrap up just in time for the eighth batter, Jazz Jam. We'll have jazz musicians and maybe some singers here from 2 to 4 p.m. Feel free to bring food and drink for yourself or to share and enjoy some live music. There is no charge for admission. Batting ninth today, we look forward to next week. Every Monday, our Widening the Circle of Concern work group meets on Zoom at 3 p.m. If you'd like to help us on our path to becoming an anti-racist church, please consider joining us. Teamwork Tuesday will meet from 4 to 6 p.m. this Tuesday to continue to spiff up our campus. We may or may not have a sunny day, but there's always plenty of work to do inside. If we can get outside, there may be some work to do in the garden. And then, big event, the World Series. The big event is the annual parish meeting on Sunday the 21st. That's next week, y'all. We'll elect new officers for the board, endowment fund, and leadership development, vote on the budget for the next fiscal year, and vote on a proposal from the Widening the Circle of Concern work group. Uncertain about your status as a voting member? Contact Rita. We'll be having an abbreviated service, followed by a potluck lunch and the parish meeting. All are welcome. Voting members in particular are needed, so bring your favorite dish, hot dogs and peanuts and Cracker Jacks, or beverage, Coke, or ice. We always need ice. We also always need ice cream. And let's do the important work of the church. If you can't make it in person, that's no problem. Voting members will be able to vote via Zoom. Find the link in your parish meeting notice, on the order of service, and in this week's e-blast. Speaking of the e-blast, that's where you'll also find information about other events, such as the wonderful summer offerings of U-Bar-U. Check it out. If you're not receiving the e-blast, you should be. Just sign up at oakcliffuu.org/enews. That's today's starting lineup. I hope you all have a great Sunday.
I think everybody here has heard these words before every weekend, every Sunday. But I like them, and they're good words. Welcome to the UU Church of Oak Cliff. Here we gather in sanctuary where we're free to pursue our own unique and individual spiritual journeys in an atmosphere of acceptance, compassion, and celebration. We seek to build a community where what you believe is less important than how your beliefs guide and inform your participation in the world. Ours is a community that values the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. We welcome you. And for this day, we have a different chalice lighting with Love for Mothers and for Mothers by Selena Fox. We kindle this flame with love for mothers and for mothers past, present, and future. We kindle this flame in celebration of community and its generations. We kindle this flame with respect and support for the greater circle of life of which we are all a part. Opening words today, Circle of Care by Lisa Bovey Kemper. In religious community, we share our joys and our triumphs, our sorrows and broken places. In this circle of care, we make space for the complexity of life, the myriad experiences that bless and break our hearts. The truth of human experience dictates that on any given day, we each come to the table with hearts in different places. It is especially so on this day, invented to honor women who nurture. In this circle of care, we honor the truth that mothering is not and never will be quantified in one single descriptor. Mothering can be elusive or infuriating, fulfilling or confusing, commonplace or triumphant. It exists in the everyday experiences of each person. There is no human being that is not connected to or disconnected from a mother. And so we honor the complexity of experience, writ large in flowered platitudes, but here in this space laid bare, honoring the truth in each of our hearts. There is room for all in this circle. If you have carried a child or children, whether or not they came to be born, we see you. If you have fervently wished to do so, and circumstances of fate made it impossible, we see you. If you love children we cannot see, whether because of death or estrangement, we see you. If you never wanted to be a mother, we see you. If you are happy to mother other people's children as an educator, an auntie, or a foster parent, we see you. If your mother hurt you physically or emotionally, we see you. If you had no mother at all, we see you. If your mother is or was your best friend, we see you. If your gender says you are not a mother, and yet you take on the role of nurturer, we see you. If you wonder whether your mothering has been enough, we see you. And if yours is a different truth altogether, we honor your unspoken story. There is room for all in this circle. May it be so today and always.
Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, where are you? In the sky song, in the forest sounds your cry. What to give you, what to call you, what am I? Many drops are in the ocean deep and wide. Sunlight bounces off the ripples to the sky. What to give you, what to call you, who am I? I am empty, time flies from me, what is time? Dreams eternal, fears infernal haunt my heart. What to give you, what to call you, oh my God. Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, take our hearts, take our breath and let our voices sing our parts. Take our hands and let us work to shape our art.
In our community, we make time each week to share pieces of our lives with one another, our joys and sorrows. We do this because each person in the community has value. Each person's experience matters. We share our sorrow with one another today, knowing that sorrow comes into each person's life, knowing that together we offer comfort.
When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love.
also share our joys with one another, knowing that joy comes into all of our lives, knowing that joy calls unto joy, knowing that together our voices can rise in a chorus of celebration. Online folks, please share your joys publicly by posting them to the Zoom chat, or send them to Facebook, to our Facebook Messenger, or speak them aloud. Stand in body or spirit, if you will, for our UUCOC covenant. Ours is a covenantal church, Latin for come together. Covenant means a solemn agreement or promise from the heart, meaning a course of action between parties. The practice of promising to walk together is the core of our faith. Simply put, it's a guide for the behavior we expect from others and ourselves. We're bound together by the promises we make to one another, and we recite our covenant during every worship service.
Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance in service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together. And now in Spanish. Porque nos amamos uno al otro. Honoramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y acepción. Así que hacemos pacto.
Good morning. I would like to invite you to take a couple of moments to take some deep breaths with me and to get comfortable in your body and in your seat. If you'd like to close your eyes, you're invited to do so. I didn't get much sleep, so I'm not going to close my eyes because I don't want to fall asleep. So let's start with a deep breath in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And out. And one more in. And out. This Saturday, the Saturday before Mother's Day, that'll be yesterday to you watching this in the future, my baby will be 8 months old. And today, which is the Thursday before Mother's Day, he has his first fever and is napping in the other room. And I'm trying very hard not to be worried about that. I'm amazed at how determined he is to be happy even when he feels so bad. I've been thinking about what I wanted to say as a new mother on Mother's Day, and it's hard to know what to say. Maybe because I'm just starting out, and so I feel like I have so many more questions than I have answers. But also, I think it might be because I'm not sure I like being a mother. I really love being a parent, and I love my baby. But the particular genderedness of motherhood feels confining. almost insulting, to be honest with you. The last year or two, I feel like I've been in a time warp. That I've been treated as less than, more than I'm accustomed to, not listened to more than I'm accustomed to, had my pain dismissed. And navigated places that don't really feel built for today. I've gotten advice that feels like it's tailored for 1950. And I've been a part of support groups for new moms where the things that other members are talking about and how they're being treated by their partners or by their families or by their doctor is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. The things that people think that they can get away with. Everything from being ignored by your doctor or being told by your doctor that you're not going to have the kind of birth that you want, or that you're not taking things seriously enough, or that you're being too stressed out, to parents that think that they are entitled to be in the delivery room, hearing about people's parents who refuse to be vaccinated before seeing their children or their grandchildren for the first time. Spouses that suddenly become super patriarchal and sexist as soon as their spouse starts expecting. It feels like it's a really perilous transition into motherhood. And I feel like I've had an easier time than most, probably because I'm so much older than most of the other people in those support groups. They're younger than me, and they don't know that they're not obligated to care about what all of these other people think. And I'm old enough that I know that I can say no, and I've had enough practice to get good at it. So there's that side of motherhood that I'm not happy about. I'm not happy about being the default parent, about it being presumed that I'm going to go pick up the baby first, and then I'll be up in the middle of the night, and if that's good and healthy and normal, and that I should be able to do everything by myself. I'm convinced that this whole single family, nuclear family setup that we have in America is pathologically counterproductive to having children. If it was just me and I never had any help, there's no way we would have survived as a species. It's insane. It's insane. And I'm astounded by how much today's society is hostile to being a parent. Everything from wages to the cost of living to the cost of childcare to just health care for your children and for new parents. It's unhuman. It's inhumane. And this last weekend, we had one of the most recent mass shootings happened in a place that I know really well, and it hit really hard. And it might also hit really hard because now I have my own perfect little innocent baby, and I've spent so many hours holding his soft little body, his little squishy cloud, squeezy, jiggly wiggly body, and wondered how anyone could tolerate what we are tolerating happening to our children in our schools and in grocery stores and in malls. And it just feels insane. It feels insane. And I'm sitting here getting ready for my first Mother's Day, and it feels like flowers and pancakes and jewelry and candles and whatever for everything that we've been through and all of the things that I'm trying to face as a parent and change about the world. It feels kind of like being given a pizza party instead of a raise. And the thing that I keep coming back to is a question that our last minister asked, which was, in the face of all of those things, what would make you decide to be a parent in the first place? Because I knew all of those things before I decided to be a parent. And I keep thinking about that. I think it has to do with hope. Hope for myself. Hope that I'll work through to a brighter future. That if I hold on and care for the people that I love, that I'll be able to build a world full of more joy, more equity. And I think I'm comforted by how many people seem to want to help look out for me and my little family. And be our friends and our neighbors and our companions. And it might also be a little selfish. And I just really wanted to hold in my arms the most perfect and beautiful thing I've ever seen. He's so amazing. It's wonderful watching him become a little person and imagining what kind of world he's going to live into. It's almost like holding a little time traveler who will go off into the future into brave new adventures that I've never known. And I think we deserve that. We deserve our full humanness. And being a parent for me was choosing to be full in my life, full in my family, and to insist that our humanity be. think that's about all that I have, except that I'm sorry for you that you don't get to hold my precious little one, that you don't get to tickle his little toes and give Zerberts to his tummy and feel how soft his head is, his giant pumpkin head, or hear him laugh, or get a slobbery baby kiss. They're just more beautiful and more perfect than I ever thought possible. I hope you have a happy Mother's Day wherever you are and however you can make that happen for you. And I hope you have a happy parenthood. And that you can be the parent that you want to be. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
Join me in reciting the Widening the Circle of Concern covenant. We, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff, commit ourselves to the study and dismantling of racism and oppression within our congregation. We commit our congregation and ourselves to the work of anti-racism and anti-oppression. We commit ourselves to listening, to learning, and to action. When we fail, we commit ourselves to trying again and again. We covenant to begin this work and to continue until all of us can truly say that we are a beloved community of justice, equity, and compassion. Thank you.
Renee's sermon touched on this. I have some prepared remarks, but I feel like I need to preface them with something. I'll preface with what I'm going to close with. Too many. There's too many. Today, I speak to you about what happened 1 year ago on this date, when a white teenager with a hateful ideology and easy access to guns drove 200 miles with the explicit intention of mass murdering black people at a Tops grocery store in Buffalo, New York. If you read the Wikipedia article about this massacre, you'll learn more than you want to know about the shooter's weapons and the malevolence of his white supremacist manifesto, about the sickening forces that influenced him just as they continue to influence others. But reading that article, you won't find out very much about the people that died that day, other than their names and ages. So, for each of those 10 people who died, I'd like to tell you just a little bit more so that we can remember them on this day and moving forward. Roberta Robbie Drury, age 32, was the youngest. Friends and family said that no matter what she went through, she was full of life, jubilant. And she had a near daily ritual with her friend and neighbor across the street. She'd pop her head out the window in the morning to yell, "Good morning, Boo, I love you." And her neighbor would yell back, "I love you too." Robbie was living in Buffalo to help her ailing adoptive brother Christopher and his family. She babysat his 2 little children and helped with the grocery shopping. That's what Roberta Drury was doing at Tops Grocery on the day of the massacre. A very brief moment, please, in memory of Roberta Drury. Ruth Whitfield, age 86, was the oldest. She had 4 children, 9 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, and 5 great-great-grandchildren. She rarely left the house without making sure she was immaculately dressed, and she spent a lifetime teaching her family to hold themselves with pride as they moved in a difficult world. Nearly every day for 8 years, Ruth visited her husband of many decades in the nursing home to make sure that all of his needs were tended. That's where she was coming from when she stopped for groceries at Tops Market that afternoon. A brief moment, please, for Ruth Whitfield. There were 4 men in their 50s and 60s who were murdered that day. Margus Morrison was known as a smiling jokester who loved the Buffalo Bills and working as a school bus aide. His wife of 25 years said, "He was our hero and there's nothing that he wouldn't do for us and his mom." Margus was at the Tops that day to pick up dinner for a weekly movie night with his wife and daughter. A moment, please, for Margus Morrison. Andre McNeil loved basketball, playing guitar, and taking care of his family. Andre had grown up in Buffalo. He and his fiancée and their little boy were visiting in town for a weekend celebration. Andre was at the Top store that day to pick up the birthday cake for 3-year-old Andre Jr. A moment, please, in memory of Andre McNeil. Aaron Salter Jr. was a hard worker and jack of all trades from an early age. As a teenager, he was an avid chess player and talented church musician who loved going on motorhome trips with his family. As an adult, he loved taking his wife, children, and children's friends on annual vacations, making video recordings of family events, rebuilding cars, and doing home renovations. Aaron Salter had worked at Tops when he was in high school, and he returned there to work after serving for 30 years with the Buffalo Police Department. He was known at Tops for his kindness and attentiveness to everyone around him, and he died trying to stop the shooter. A moment, please, for Aaron Salter Jr. Deacon Hayward Patterson's life was focused on service to his church and community, from driving the church van to fixing whatever needed to be fixed, to volunteering in the soup kitchen and ministering to people in the street. He was at the Tops that afternoon working as a jitney driver, providing safe and affordable rides home to people who were loaded down with their groceries and didn't otherwise have a way to get home. A moment, please, for Deacon Hayward Patterson. Four more women were murdered that day, women in their 60s and 70s. Jerry Talley loved to cook and bake. She had a beautiful smile full of kindness. She loved spending time with her family and sitting by the water. Geraldine and her fiancé were at Tops that afternoon to pick up supplies for their weekly waterfront picnic. A moment, please, in memory of Jerry Talley. Celestine Cheney retired from her job doing piecework at New Era Cap Company after surviving 3 brain aneurysms. She survived a bout with breast cancer. She loved her church and her grandchildren and her fiancé. She loved bingo and Bruno Mars. Every time she heard Uptown Funk, her sister said, Steiny would stand there and do a little dance move. Not quite a dance, just a few moves every time. Celestine was at Tops that afternoon because she wanted to make her favorite dessert, strawberry shortcake, and had asked her sister Joanne to go shopping with her. They were on their way out the door when the shooting started. They turned around. Her sister made it back in through the store, but Celestine did not. A moment, please, for Celestine Cheney. Catherine Cat Massey was part of a community advocacy group called We Are Women Warriors. She was a talented writer and that group's go-to person when they needed an opinion editorial piece. She spent years trying to get the federal government to address handgun trafficking in particular. Cat Massey was one of several Black community matriarchs known and beloved throughout the neighborhood who died that day because of where she lived and where she shopped, and because she was Black. A moment, please, for Cat Massey. And finally, Pearl Young was another of those matriarchs known and beloved throughout the neighborhood. She was a pastor's wife and Sunday school teacher who ran a local food pantry for many years. As with most of the others who were murdered that day at Tops, church life and being of service were central to who she was. The son of one of her closest friends spoke about the joyfulness with which she expressed her faith, saying, "You could see her dancing and running down the aisles. There was never a time she came to church that she did not run around and rejoice and shout. She was a vibrant, vibrant person." A moment, please, for Pearl Young. When I was putting together these notes, I tried at one point to add up the number of spouses and children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, nieces, nephews, cousins, siblings, whose lives were most directly ripped apart that day, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it for the same reason that I cannot stand here every Sunday sketching out lives lost to white supremacy and gun violence in this country, because there are just too many. I forget if it was a week or 2 weeks, but it was around that. After this shooting, Tops shooting, Uvalde happened. So there was a lot of national media coverage for the Tops massacre, quickly washed out by another massacre. We can't remember all the names all the time, but let's Every now and then, take a moment to remember what we can. Thank you.
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place that is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. Members, if you're contributing cash toward your pledge, please use the envelope provided in the basket and write your name on it. To text your donation, see the number on your order of service, which is 214-225-5996. And for more options, you can check the website, oakcliffuu.org/donate.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy.
Because we're human, it's likely that your relationship with that mother is, was, or will someday be challenging. If you identify as a woman, then it's almost certain that your connection with this matter of mothering is or was sufficiently complex that it's sometimes hard to explain. From the diversity of our lives, from the similarity of our hearts, let us pray. For all who never knew their mothers, and all who chose or were compelled to let their children drift away, we ask a blessing on this day. For all who longed to hold their newborn in the arms of love, and all who faced a pregnancy with fear, we ask a blessing on this day. For all who struggle with the pain of their mother's increasing confusion, and all who feel the muddle growing in their own heads and seek to keep it from their parent or their child, we ask a blessing on this day. For all whose mothers never grew up and all whose mothers never learned to play, we ask a blessing on this day. For all who missed the chance to say I love you, and all who long to say it now, but find ourselves afraid, we ask a blessing on this day. For all who carry ancient wounds, infertility, abuse, misunderstanding, anger, grief, we ask a blessing on this day. For all who struggle with regret, we ask a blessing on this day.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one.
Words for Extinguishing the Chalice, Daring Vision, also by Reverend Lauren. We extinguish this chalice flame, daring to carry forward the vision of this free faith, that freedom, reason, and justice will one day prevail in this nation and across the earth. You can stand and greet your neighbor. Think about sticking around for talk back. I think I want to start calling that our circle of care.